Particularly for an anniversary, it's important, or for us, it was important to have someone who has a personal connection to Troopers. And so we're really proud to have someone around who can not only give an inspiring keynote, but has been around with Troopers for over a decade. So some of you may know him as father of these very nice posters about file types and stuff. You, by the way, can auction, or you can get some of these posters signed by him at the charity auction tomorrow. Yeah, I would say please give a very, very warm welcome for our keynote speaker, Ange Albertini.
Oh, scary stuff. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this keynote. And yeah, file formats. Yes, welcome. A question of time. Sorry, I'm wondering what I'm doing here. You know, impostor syndrome as usual. And yeah, I've been sometimes at reverse engineer. I've been now I'm Google, Mandiant Flare. So you expect AI and threat intelligence and all this stuff. You know, I like file formats, but also I'm French, and so I expect sarcasm and swearing. And no, this is not. This talk, it would be too easy to do something technical, threat intelligence, some write-up and so on. And this talk is about, we'll try to cover a wide spectrum of opinions, not necessarily mine, but maybe worth presenting. And again, yeah, I won't pull punches. And we all have different opinions, so yeah, let's be tolerant, but FSK Artsen, you warned. Okay? So, times are changing. Tooling evolve, but basics remain the same. I say that especially for new people joining the industry. And it's okay, I see a lot of people getting addicted to the current tooling, the latest stuff like Vim, and your tooling fails. Well, it's more important to remember the basics, fall back to the basic and don't get dependent. We're just traveling in time. Some tool disappeared. Who will remember W32 DASM or Sourcer? And maybe IDA is one wrong decision away from disappearing, and I see people being addicted and gatekeeping about their tool. Nope, that's not how it should work. And in 2008, Troopers had a keynote about invulnerable software. You know how we age well, you know? Maybe your opinion is just valid right now, or it's not even valid soon. Last week, I tried to feed a decryption algorithm of a malware to an AI, and it gave me something that was wrong, and but it didn't doubt in any way. So I think, but the algorithm was just a standard-looking algorithm, but modified so that it was not the usual case, and AI didn't care, gave me a wrong answer, and didn't doubt at all. So I'm wondering if AI is just a new factor, but of course the bad guys want to bypass that. That's their job. So yeah, it's just a new factor in the same old cat and mouse game. We'll see. But AI never doubts, even when wrong. And the worst is that not only it's misleading, but it's just telling you this is how it is. And in the end, we still need human expert, right? So I think okay, there is the AI part. We try to use, but we should focus, especially us. We are human in a conference. We should remember what defines human intelligence, right? And doubt is critical, and this is very important, especially because at school we shouldn't fail, and we were told, hey, you're a failure, you have bad marks, you have to repeat your grade, and so on, you know? It's very important, it's to go beyond that, to have no idea what to do next, to be wrong, or to take too long, and a lot of people come to me and say, oh, wow, I took too long. It's like, it's normal, it's a learning step, it's only human. Some people will pretend they are flawless, but in the end, they're just insecure and ridiculous, and then no one tells them, but yeah, it's pretty obvious. So when you hear someone to say, I was never sick, I never had an accident, and so on, is it to save your time and pretend, you know, to skip the conversation, or is it just pure denial? In any case, it's not helpful at all, and AI can do that just fine, you know? It can pretend it's perfect. So it's not about denying your failure. It's not about saying, oh, I'm always perfect, and oh, God knows I'm not. It's about, yes, I did mistakes, but shake them off, you know? So the usual trend online is to be kind, you know, respect yourself. Now, this is my friend, fuck this, you know, screw these negative thoughts, they slow you down. So just whenever they, oh my God, I failed, oh fuck, sorry for the half swearing, but just screw them, beat them down, and every time, every morning, oh my God, this, oh no, down there, this is how you could handle it. Of course, you can still go the kind way, but it's not what it works for me. Okay, you get the idea. So, no one is perfect, and especially no one knows everything, and we really forget stuff. But especially with younger people that I meet in the industry, they come and say, oh, what should I learn, which book exactly? And then when you actually ask them, what did you do, and so on, they know a lot. And I know some file formats, but there is plenty of stuff that I don't know, and there is a lot that every one of you in this room is the only one to know, and maybe you don't realize that, and you think everyone knows that, but it's wrong. And this is really something, it takes some time to realize that, to understand that, wow, they don't know that? Oh, wait. And this is exactly how I gave my first presentation. I talked with a colleague, and he was like, oh, you should present, but I didn't know. Everyone knows that. And no, it was just pure, it was wrong, I was wrong to think that everyone knows the same and so on, and it was actually worth presenting. So really, it takes time to do that, and you understand that by connecting to others, because otherwise you stay in your bubble and you think, oh, maybe I don't know anything special. So you should know that all of you can be awesome, but it might take time and longer than you think to realize that. But the whole education, media, whatever, is always praise the top 3 in the class, and all the one who had repeat their grades, they're idiots. No, this is a totally wrong misrepresentation, and anyway, we don't care. It's about you, it's about us. I mean, each of you, right? Us as in a whole, but each of you individually. So the whole trend and myths of success, easy win, always winning, and the top of the world, and oh, this guy was super bad. Okay, it's Germany, right? I can swear, right? Bullshit. So yeah, fuck, the censoring is too hard. Sorry for that. Sue me later. But another thing is that people come to me or ask around, what's the best book and whatever. It's not about the book. It's about trusting yourself and also worshiping less and, less following and more trying yourself. Talk to your rubber duck. You will understand a lot more with your own idea. But the idols, betray your idols, the people that we represent as champion of AI, of reverse engineering, screw that, including me. Like some people think I'm good at file format. If they knew that. But certainly, one thing is sure is that hard things take time. And if you can still count how many times you try something, it's probably not much. For those who have kids, if you still count how many times you woke up during the night because of your kids, you have it easy. One day you'll be very fine with having no idea where, and so on. It takes time and effort. But on the other hand, don't hold back punches for that. It takes time to reach, to try enough, It doesn't work. Of course, the people are like, how can I, and whatever, and they actually never tried. It's like, how can I learn file format, take a file, open a hex editor, and the spec. And if after long enough you never tried, then maybe you were not really interested, or maybe it was against your nature. You thought you were interested, but maybe not. So there is also, you can read on the internet that any skill can be acquired. That's a CEO statement, like, oh, you can find someone with a skill, but it's not that we can learn any skills. We have our likes and our dislikes. Look at the shapes of the body types of Olympic athletes. Even though you love basketball, if you're short, hard time, So if you are, like I would say, a hardware person, and you'll enjoy the smell of soldering in the morning, then maybe a hex editor would be dying. And for me, when I see the bytes and the hex, it's like, paradise again, it's just me. Yeah, okay, whatever. You get the idea. And when it's still not good enough, maybe you're trying to please someone and you're actually forgetting that you may have your own path, your own way. And variety is good. Just providing something the same knowledge, but maybe in another format. Maybe that will click. Maybe that will be your, I'll make a song. We don't have enough punk bands of InfoSec, or I don't know, rap, or this. Why not? I remember there was this rap from, what's his name? Dual Core. And he starts by counting numbers, and my son learned to count in English because of that song. So congrats, with a rap InfoSec song, he starts to learn to count in English. Just a small story. And of course, you will have people who say, gatekeeping again, no point in reinventing the wheel. Well, sometimes it's definitely worth it, right? And sometimes it's good to express your creativity by for example, conferences badge. And if that wasn't clear, that's my token. I made it a bit cheeky, hard, so congrats if you get them. The slides are available, no worries. So don't blame yourself. You can know your path if there's no map. It takes time and effort, but it's for everyone. Of course, some of us have advantages, privileges, and luck, but still, I think it's a bit the same. And sometimes you will not have any support from others just because you had an idea in your mind and you talk to colleagues and they're like totally non-interested. Even if they genuinely try to understand, it's just because the idea came in your own mind. And sometimes, initially, something is completely crazy, as in, why would people care? Exactly what happened. When I did my first poster, my colleagues were like, no one does that, who cares? No, why? And eventually, I still went on, and eventually, people start to have use of it. And it's totally okay for them. You cannot blame them for not having your perspective, even if it's people who think you from a long time, So it's a mental hurdle to overcome, and I think I waited too long to wait for approval of people at that time, or to wait for their understanding, for sharing my perspective. So follow your perspective if you can, because other people, you cannot blame them for not sharing it. It's okay to feel stuck in a loop. Of course, it kind of sucks if you feel stuck in a loop, but first, it's good to have consistency, and in the end, you're always making small steps. It's not going back to the exact same step. A single success is a long trail of failures, and it's okay to stop. Sometimes you feel like, okay, it doesn't go anywhere. Let's save it. Let's stop. But it's not stop as table flip and swearing. Oh, okay, swearing is fine. But it's also, how can I say? It's also very good to stop, but in a smart way, to remember where you were, to acknowledge your efforts so far, and especially to take notes on the way. And nowadays, I take a lot of notes on what I'm doing, what I thought, my command lines, invocation, especially to remember, to store. Very important when you remote, to prove to your management and to yourself that you did something this week. And also very good, again, for imposter syndrome, because you realize, wow, 2 weeks ago, I thought that, or I didn't get that yet. Wow, I did some progress, and now these notes, can help a lot to teach someone else, and you share them and to write documentation. And then when you resume a project sometime later, whether it's yours or not, or someone else, these notes will be super useful. So it's very a kind of mitigation against the imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome is here to stay. It just means that you care about the quality of your work, and it's much better than being the idiot who think they know everything. And if the imposter syndrome is still there, I wonder why I'm the one presenting here. It could be, why? You're obviously wrong. But the imposter syndrome can be mitigated, help someone, and by being helpful, you realize that you have a function, you have some value, and you're not that bad. And also read your past notes. Or another very good one is interviewing candidates. When you see people coming and wanting to be your teammates, sometimes it helps. Let's put it that way. And if you think you're only thinking, that's also a very normal human behavior, mental state, to think, oh God, I'm not progressing anything. It's just a normal step. It's maybe you did wrong choices, whatever that means. Things didn't go as you expect, but it's human, and it's okay. But of course, some people will be the first one to say, such a loser. Why can't you do things perfectly at the first time, and so on. Thank you, Dad. Yeah, I mean, dads in general, you know. Okay, I'm a dad too. I should be careful, maybe. But remember, it's okay, on the other side, it's okay to be different, but not to be a jerk. It's not a reason to be a complete swearing again, okay? You get the idea. But, and beware of what you think is becoming your habit, because eventually you'll think it's totally normal, and then you start to express it more and more, and you'll even wonder, why, you know, can't I look down? Oh, this is the person looking down on everyone. And I'm very saddened to see in InfoSec when you have someone with a lot of knowledge who, like, very impressive person, I won't name people, but, and then they look down and they even belittle beginners. And why? They don't need that. They don't have anything to prove. They're very good. Why even wasting time? Like, what's the purpose of that? It's totally useless for them. It's sad for them, and it's also sad for the new guy. Of course, we know with 1 year of experience, what do you know? But compared to someone who's been all the time in industry, but it's really sad, I think. I heard that a lot. So, just to take a small pause, making the world a better place, start with yourself. We tend to focus on the technicalities. I could talk about anti-debug, malware, file format, and so on, but none of this helps when you're broken inside or when you need to realize that most of us, if not all, have been through some of this, right? So this is where you can make a better world by becoming a better self. Even though I'm obviously not a therapist or anything, just another person in the group, you know? But things can really go a lot wrong than all this sometimes, you know? Humans plan, and then fate loss. And suddenly you have a major event, death or whatever, betrayal, major fuck up, terrorist attack. And then you're like, life is unfair, and you want my old life back. And suddenly you realize that you have to move on. It's super hard. It takes time to accept, but your second life begins when you realize you only have one. And it's super painful, but it's by connecting with others that you will understand that better and you may overcome this. So beware of this eager to help, only according to their own terms, only wanting to, give you a high five, but nothing, you know? Some people just want to help and ignore their own needs. Just want to satisfy their own needs and not truly help. But remember, it's also, again, not sharing your perspective. I would say something, so be careful there. From our experience in the family, experts like therapists, social service, it's a bit like emergency room. If you're in critical danger, they are helpful, but for the rest, it's more like, it's so naive and not progressing that it's a bit like, fuck this, I have to handle it myself, you know? So, you know, take that with a pinch of salt, but don't overestimate their help and don't underestimate what you can come out of you. And very important too is that that's true for therapists and all professionals, but also your close ones, because they've known you for all the time sometimes, and they think they already know you, and it's shocking that your close ones may have no support for you because they say, oh, you're a loser again, and whatever. So, and that doesn't help, and maybe they don't even realize because they think initially it is the same schema again, you know? So, it also tells you, you have to be, you are your strongest source of power, and you can sometimes only count on yourself. So, another very important thing is that no matter the hardships, count your luck, understand your privilege. It really helps. And instead of thinking, oh, it was so good before, just be grateful, I had that privilege, and that privilege is gone now. And really, very important is that when you're facing some hardship and suddenly you're discussing with someone and so you don't have this, oh, my parents are dead, or my ex is an alcoholic, or this kind of thinking, and suddenly you're thinking, wow, I have it very easy compared to others. And it's can sound naive to say, always look at the bright side of life. I could sing it. Always, sorry. But it's not naivety. It's accept your new fate because it lightens your weight. It's against beating those bad thoughts And yeah, maybe your new life sucks compared to what it was previously. Maybe that privilege is gone, but by realizing, oh, I have this problem, and oh, does she self-mutilate? No, oh, okay. Or is he dangerous? Or, you know, all this kind of stuff. And you know what? It's when you talk with people, when you connect, and when you talk with even sometimes famous colleagues, peers, and by saying, I have this hardship in my life, and suddenly they take a break and say, oh, you don't have this, I had way worse, blah, blah. And suddenly you don't know this celebrity for that reason, and suddenly you're like, wow, I had it lucky. Like, oh, only suicide attempts. Oh, but he survived, that's cool. Okay, take that with a pinch of salt, but it really helps, even though it's not easy, and it takes time to accept. So sometimes it's really about stop giving a fuck, because there's no end in your tunnel. You have to believe in yourself. You are the light. To everyone else, you're secondary anyway. So, for example, relations. Okay, so first, relations, everyone has their different expectations of love, and you say faster alone and further together. So it will guide, it's about balance and not control. Okay, but it's too easy to win when you're happy. It's too easy to love when everything is fine. And on the other hand, people are like, oh, this didn't work out. You have to find someone else. Says, no, you don't need love or company. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that you can survive and you could be fine without it. Alone gives you full freedom. It's better alone than in a bad company. And some loners, oh, they are alone, oh, what a loser. No, it can be totally fine. And some are really impressive hackers they don't look for a relation. So you have to separate that, the usual trend of naivety or, you know, it's just opinions, right? The pitchfork is at the end. The pitchfork hunt is at the end. And you don't need anyone's validation. Even if some others disagree, you might like someone's validation, it might help, but ultimately you don't truly need it. If it makes you happy, then that's the most important part. You're secondary to anyone else. So I'm not saying that you have to be a jerk and you have to reject anyone, but your inner power, your inner source of energy is definitely bigger than you may think. But on the other hand, you're never alone if you want. You have similar people, of course, in a conference and so on. You have many incredible people out there to connect with, to discuss, and to learn. So, you know, just exploring a spectrum of opinions. Token, taking a break. So sometimes it's not about you. Maybe your efforts are never enough. And some people don't want a solution. They just want to be mad. They just want to watch the world burn. They do not care about you. They want to satisfy their needs more than anything. And it's nice to believe in kindness, but some people will hurt you if they can get away with it. And they will do it repeatedly until you fight back or run. And there are really a few people in my life, I wish they would really get that because they are putting themselves in danger. So you know who I'm talking, they know who I'm talking about. They'll make you, so some people will hurt you and they will make you think you're a bad person for how badly they treated you. So they make you want to feel that you're the problem and actually they just want to hurt you. They don't even care. And if you're like, but I have done nothing wrong, so what? They don't want to hurt you. They just don't care if they hurt you. And maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe it's even by design. So first, the Peter's principle, promotion until incompetence. It's an old principle, and when you're good at something, then you get promoted. And eventually, when you're not promoted anymore, well, it means that you're not competent at this level anymore. So first, it's a natural state that everyone in a group ends up being incompetent at their current level. But sometimes it is preferred. Loyalty for the boss is preferred over actual competence. Status quo is more important than actual progress. That's called kakistocracy. And it's kind of mafia-like, where the boss will choose incompetent people that just follow him or her, without asking questions, so that there is not a secondary decision organ in the group. And they want someone incompetent, just follow the orders without thinking. And then if there is someone with actual skill, they will trap them, they will hold them, prevent any promotion, so that the competence is kept in control, but the whole hierarchy is made of incompetent but loyal people. And they don't want to promote someone else with competence, because it will, then the incompetent boss it will be highlighted that he is incompetent. And then people say, hey, the other guy is much better, so why is that guy the boss? So it's by design. So, and it's not just mafia, it could be just in any group or in any hierarchy, you know? So, and with such people who want to get rid of you, or who don't care if they hurt you, you may be tempted to bow and to risk your health, your future, your family, but they won't stop unless they have to. Then maybe if you think, oh, it's fine because I don't want to be a bad person and so on, then maybe one good way to think about it, if you're becoming, how can I say, if you're feeling bad and your health is at risk, then your close ones will suffer too. And it's when, instead of worrying about yourself, you say, oh, my family will suffer from that boss, then maybe that will give you the will to fight back or run or flight. It's fight or flight. So fight, why not? Because sometimes all these threats, especially with remote position, you know, sometimes it's just empty threats. They just assume that you don't know. They will make you do something that you shouldn't, and they just assume that you don't know that it's a lie or it's misleading. So by connecting with others, asking how it works in their company, the law, or just in general, then you will understand, hey, that's not how it works. And suddenly just by being told, no, this is wrong, this is not, by getting your own information and show them that you're prepared, it will help you, will be less vulnerable. And of course, you get that by connecting with others. And stupid, simple example, there was a hurricane, my trampoline flew over and crashed a car over the street, and but it was a natural disaster, you know, and the neighbor once had a bully attitude and just told me that I'm going to be sued or whatever, and then someone else told me, no, according to German law, this is not how it works, and blah, blah. And if I didn't get extra information, then I would have to pay for something that I don't. So it's a very trivial example, but sometimes it's about a lot more insidious, especially in organizations, you know. But just asking someone else makes you get another information and suddenly makes you less vulnerable. And by connecting with others in the industry, like here, it will help you maybe be less vulnerable in the future. That fight could also be lost in advance. And you might lose yourself because it's someone's full agenda to ignore your needs and to try to help you. And in this case, it might be better than burning yourself out by not running, but basically saving yourself. Never argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to your level, and then they will beat you with experience, you know? Very old quote, right? But still very valid today. And this fact that you are smart makes you vulnerable. By questioning things because you are human, it makes you sometimes overthink, and this doubt can be exploited by others who don't care, and being too nice sometimes increase your attack surface, and some people will try to abuse that. In all this, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm too good for that, I don't want to ask help, but asking for help is the bravest thing to say. Asking for help is not giving up, it's refusing to give up. But help sometimes can be still hard to say because you're stuck in this downward spiral, and suddenly you get even used to it. It's like it's normal, it's as usual, and you want to be too nice to fight back, and you don't want to bother others and ask for help, and you're thinking, no, it's okay, and you even hide it from others. So you're feeling comfortable in that danger zone. Okay? So maybe you can actually save yourself anymore at this stage, and it really helps. It really happens. And so what do we do? Sometimes we're stuck. And so if you're on the other hand of the spectrum, it's like, I'm not a loser, I don't need help, and I have none of this problem, and this keynote is bullshit, and who cares? And some people left the room already, so it's perfectly fine. yeah, good for you. Bless your luck, your privilege. So what? Not everything is about you. But what about helping someone else? You can make the world a better place, a safer place, by saving someone. And it's not always hard to help someone. It could be as simple as just giving some time, temporary safe space, and time to recover. I don't know if you've ever seen a teenager drowning. Sorry. It looks like, so even if the teenager, imagine a teenager, they're in a swimming pool, and they know how to swim, and they could reach the bottom, but they've been hit, and suddenly, it looks like they're having fun, they look like they're okay, maybe they're playing or whatever, and it's just that they're stuck in the loop. But they are actually in mortal danger. Sorry. They need help, but they cannot tell, they won't tell, they are not in a situation where they can help. They're just stuck in the loop, and in other circumstances, it would be totally fine. It's like he knows how to swim, there's no way there could be any problem, right? And all they need is some help. Put them out of the water. I mean, it's just a very interesting example because it's real as a danger, as a mortal danger, but it's also very, like someone who could be fine otherwise just needs some temporary space, some saving that will help them recover, and after that, it's fine. But without your help, they couldn't make it. Some people, so you like, well, who cares, this guy really. Some people among us maybe are drowning right now, and maybe peer pressure from the family, from management, from friends, and maybe you can help them. I don't know. And you sometimes get more help from people you don't know, because first, you assume that you will bother people if they help you, and so basically, it's not because you don't know the person that you cannot help. So, all this grim stuff, maybe. We're human. A lot of these hurdles need time to be overcome, efforts, and by connecting to each other, we can improve, and we can understand, and be stronger. It takes time to be grateful from your past, to understand your luck and privileges, to overcome hardships, and to accept the past and your fate, and then get the best out of you. It's going to be okay, maybe not as initially planned, not going to be easy, but it will be fine in some ways. What time is it? It's time to realize how awesome you can be, how well you've done so far, despite how people treated you, how bad things turned out. Acknowledge, but really shake off or beat down these negative thoughts. Stop expecting a magic solution, and believe and rely on yourself. Make the best of now at this conference. Observe, listen, understand, learn, connect, ask, grow, help. It has to start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now? A very special thank you for the organizer. Conference help us to relax, connect, grow. Thanks for this conference, for all the continuated effort, and thanks for your attention.